Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome you all to our first English Wednesday of 2021. So let's get right to it. I'd like to introduce my friend and colleague, Russell Stannard. I think everyone here must know him. So without further ado, I'll pass the mic to Russell. And at the end, I'll be jumping back in to ask him the questions that you'll be posting. I don't know if he'll have time to read them as he's doing the presentation, but I'll make sure that I get him a number. So thank you very much. Russell, over to you.
Hi, Casimir. Thank you very much. Good to see you as always, and lovely to be here in this presentation today. So obviously a big thanks to Mondadori and to Macmillan for inviting me along. I really hope I'm going to be able to good job for you. I'm going to make this as practical as I possibly can. I'm just going to screen share a little presentation, but mainly this presentation is going to be really interactive, and I'm going to get you involved in it. So I'm just going to quickly do a screen share and just jump over to my presentation just very quickly. There it is on the screen. And just what we're calling this really is the post-pandemic classroom. What will work now and what will work in the future. So I'm going to look at technologies that we can use now. So they'll be really useful for you now if you're teaching online or you're teaching in perhaps a hybrid class, for example. But they're also going to be really useful for you when we go back to teaching, and hopefully we will do eventually this year, go back to teaching in a kind of normal mode, what I call a blended learning mode. So that's really what I'm going to do. So I'm going to make today's session really interactive, just a few tools, and we're going to focus on kind of different ways of using these technologies. Now I'm actually going to start by using a technology. So I'm just going to stop sharing that screen just for a quick second, and just come back to the main presentation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just screen share for you now a technology that I've got on my computer. It's called, and I'll show you why I'm going to use it. We're going to use something called Mentee Meter. So hopefully now you can see Mentee Meter. Mentee Meter is brilliant because you can use it in the classroom, and the telephones can answer the questions. Students can answer questions on their telephones. But you can also use it in an online context because you can share a link and then the students can answer the link. And the great thing about Mentimeter is it's free, and that it allows you to have lots and lots of interaction with your students. You can get them to share stuff and it will collect everything together in one place. It's a free technology. Let me just show you an example. I was doing a session with a group from Turkey the other day. And if you look at this, you'll see here that basically I got them to share all of their ideas on the screen. And if I put this into presentation mode, you will see that I was asking them, what do you find difficult about teaching online? And you see that all of their answers all came back to me instantly in one place. I just collected together all their ideas in this one area. And the students can access this, or the teachers can access this through their telephones or through their computers. So it's great for the classroom. So it's great in a blended learning, because you can do activities in the class, but it's also great for homework, or it's also really good, of course, if you're teaching online. Now, one of the nice things about this particular technology as well, if we just click back, and in fact, let me just press here and just come out of that. If we just click back again, is that there are loads of activity types. So if I click on the home page, and I was to click on new presentation, and I'm going to call this one Italy. Okay, and I'm going to click on create presentation. We'll call it Italy 2021. It's the first presentation I've done this year. So I click on create presentation. And you see here on the right, I have many possibilities of different types of questions that I can ask. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on open-ended. Okay, I'm just going to click on open-ended. And then I'm going to click on flowing grid. Okay, now all I need to do is write my question. So the question I'm going to ask you is, what do you find hard about teaching online? Now, I've asked this question many, many times, but at the moment it's a really interesting question to ask people. So I've written the question, what do you find hard about teaching online? I'm going to click on the share button. And all I need to do now is copy this link. Okay, so I'm going to copy that link there. Copy that link. And what we're going to do is we're going to share this link with you in a moment so you can click on the link and answer the question. So what I'm going to do now is just copy that link. Okay, going to come back here. Going to stop sharing, come back into the main window. So come back onto StreamYard. And now in the chat window, I'm just going to share this and then we're going to share it with you. Okay, that's the first link. And what I want you to do is I want you to click on that link and answer the question. So what do you find the most difficult about teaching online? And now there's more than 1,000 of you online at the moment. And I'm hoping I'm going to collect together hundreds and hundreds of ideas about what you think about teaching online. So if I just quickly screen share, maybe some of you are already answering the questions. Now you could do this on your telephone or you could do this using your computer. Obviously in this session today we're doing it on the computer. So I'm just going to screen share again. I'm going to come back to my applications and I'm going to open up again this one here, this Mentee Meter, and I can already see loads and loads of you are answering the question. Okay, I've got 38 answers already on the screen here. Many of you talking about motivating students. A lot of you are talking about the personal relationship. A lot of you are talking about feedback. I've got 66 of you now have answered the question. So loads and loads of different answers coming up onto the screen. And you can see I get all of your information, all comes here in one place. I collect all of your answers together. More than 90 of you now have answered. Engagement, motivation, assessments. Okay, so loads and loads of different personal relation, engagement, motivation coming up. Engagement again, loads of you are talking about that. Okay, really good to see all your answers. So I can quickly collect together all of your answers. Okay, all in one place just by doing an activity with the Mentee Meter. Okay, so very powerful if you're wanting to get your students to collaborate and work together. Sometimes it's boring, someone says motivation, getting the students involved, relationships with the students. A lot of you are talking about that. Feedback is difficult. Okay, so I like these particular types of activities, and we got 191 of you now so far have answered this question, and it's going up all the time. Okay, collecting together more and more answers together, and you can just see how easy it is to use this technology. Okay, it's a great way of getting the students involved in the lesson. It's a great way of collecting all their ideas together in one place. Okay, so far more than 200 of you have answered that question. Okay, now I'm just going to bring it back a minute, so I'm just going to click here and just come let me just come out of that. So if I click on, sorry, let me just come here, hopefully I'm going to come back. So you can see I've got all of your answers together really quickly, all in one place. And the brilliant thing about Mentee Meter, okay, and you can see many of you are still answering the question. The brilliant thing about Mentee Meter is that it's free. And I can do these activities really, really quickly, okay? And I can do different types of activities. It's one technology that we can use in the class, but we can use online. We can use in hybrid, because we can have some students in the class using their telephone, some students at home using their computers, okay? Many of you are answering on the screen, and I can see your answers. I'm just going to come back and show you another activity with Mentee Meter. So I'm going to click back on the home page. Okay, you can carry on answering that question if you want, but I'm just going to come back to the home page again. I'm going to do another activity just to demonstrate how powerful this is. So I'm going to click on new presentation, and this time we're going to call this Italy 2. Okay, so Italy 2 2021. Okay, so Italy 2, 2021, create presentation. And this time we're going to do a completely different type of activity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on ranking. And we're going to do a ranking activity. And I'm going to simply ask you to write, what is your favorite language? Now, I'm not going to ask you about Italian. Okay, so we're going to put French. And we're going to put English. And we're going to put just to demonstrate the idea, we'll put Spanish and we'll put German. Okay, so we're writing in four languages. Let's add one more. We'll put Greek in there as well. Okay, so I want you to, let's change the question slightly. So which of these languages sounds the nicest? Which of these languages sounds nicest? Right, so you've got to order them. Okay, very different type of activity. Yeah, okay, question mark, and I'm going to say, can you order them? Okay, simple as that. Same activity. Okay, I'm going to move now over to the share button, and again I'm going to share the link. Now notice, if I wanted to, I can get students to access this in different ways. Okay, so they can also go use this code to get onto the site. So if they're on a telephone, they can go to mentee.com and put in this code, and then they can actually vote this way. So you can have students accessing with the telephone or students accessing online. Now I'm going to copy the link again. So this is a different type of activity, and I'm just going to demonstrate to you what you need to do. So what I'm going to do is just stop sharing very quickly. Okay, come back to the main window just for a second. I'm going to do a new screen share, but I'm going to just jump over to my, okay, let me just come to my, do a new screen share. Hang on a minute. In fact, let me just share their entire, no, sorry, yeah. So let me just do a new screen share, and I'm hoping, okay, good. All right, let me just, lovely. So I'm going to jump back to here. 1 second, I just need to open up this window for you, and then I'll be ready. 1 second, I'll be with you. I just want to show you what you're going to need to do. Lovely. Okay, so let me just stop my screen share and come back again, and hopefully now I can just screen share with you what I need to show you so you can see how this works. Lovely. So you're going to come onto a site now, and what you're going to do is choose which is your first one. So I'm going to choose French, and then second I'm going to choose Spanish. Third I'm going to choose Greek. I like Greek. Fourth I'm going to choose English, and I'm not very keen on the German accent, so I'm going to put there, and then I'm going to submit that. So this is a totally different type of activity. This is a voting activity, and the vote will change as you put your answers in. So I'm going to jump back again, stop sharing, come back. I'm going to share the link with you now, okay? And I'd like you to vote on which language you think sounds nicest. Again, we're trying to get the students to engage. They could do it on the telephone, or they could do it on their computer. You could do it in the classroom. Good fun activity with the telephone, or you could do it on, get them to do it on the internet as well. Now, if I screen share and we come back to that application, we should see that people are hopefully beginning to vote, and I can see the vote is changing all the time. Okay, at the moment, English is most popular, French is second, Spanish is third, and German is fourth. Greek is fifth. I'm very surprised that people don't like Greek. And still at the moment, English is in first place. I'm screen sharing this so you can see the vote live. 100 people have already voted. English first, French second, Spanish third. But Spanish is catching up French at the moment. And German is in fourth place. Greek is in fifth. Okay, 170 of you, 180 of you have voted. Lots of you are voting now to tell me which language you think sounds the best. So again, you can see the power of this technology to get students engaged with the lesson. There are so many different types of activities in Mentimeter. And the fantastic thing about Mentimeter is it's free. I just have a free account, which I've been using for a long time. Lots of different activities. Sometimes I use it for checking understanding. Sometimes I do it for voting. Sometimes I do it, for example, to collect people's ideas together. And you can see really how useful it is. Now, I'm just going to give you a minute or two to finish your voting. And you can see on the screen at the moment that English is definitely the most popular. French is second, Spanish is third, and there's not much change. The voting is very consistent at the moment, and there's more than 260 of you have voted so far. Okay, so you could easily use this in the class with your students. Okay, just give you 1 minute to finish your voting, and then we'll carry on with the presentation. Okay, well done, guys. Brilliant. I'll wait until we get to about 300 votes. Hopefully, you're all going to vote. See if we can just get up to 300. While you're doing that, while you're voting, and you can continue voting, I'm going to go back to the main window. So we've done 2 activities now. Remember, there are many, many types of activities that we can do. All right. So we chose ranking. We got scale. We got Q&A. We got word cloud, we got multiple choice, we got select an answer, we got type an answer. There are so many different activities. Okay. Now, if I go back to the home page, you can see just how many activities I've created. Okay. So I'm regularly using this, and I did 2 activities with you today. And if I jump back to the first activity now, I can see that the total number of people that interacted with the first activity is 239. And the number of people that interacted with the second activity is 286 of you so far. Okay, so Mentimeter is a really powerful technology. I'm just going to come back to the presentation, just really quickly come back in. We're going to carry on now. So Mentimeter is a tool that I like using because we can use it online. We can use it in the class with a phone. So the students just go to mentee.com and put the code in. They can access the same thing on their telephone. And there is a huge variety of activities. And of course, it's free. And it allows lots of interaction, like the interaction that I'm having with you now. Okay, so I'm just going to jump back very quickly into my presentation just for a couple of moments. Okay, so that was Mentimeter. Okay, now at the end of this presentation, I've got a special link for you where I've made a video how to use Mentimeter. So if you want to learn to use Mentimeter, then I will give you a special link at the end, and you will get the videos how to use Mentimeter. I really recommend Mentimeter. Now, we like these technologies that we can use on the phone, but also on a website, because these technologies can easily be used in the class or for homework. And this is why we like technologies like Mentimeter. What we also like is the idea that we can link the lesson together, the homework and the class. So the idea of linking the lesson, for example, you do a lesson and then you create a Mentimeter. The students have to do it at home. So you share the link with them, or you share the code with them. They can do the activity at home. Now, during this year, I was doing a lot of training, and there was one outstanding website, one really outstanding website that really was popular with language teachers. And I'm going to show it to you now. It's the second technology I'm showing you, and it's called WordWall. And it really has become a very, very popular technology. I'm just going to take you over to see WordWall. So I'm just going to stop sharing again, come back to my presentation, and I'm going to quickly bring you on to working with WordWall. So I'm going to click here, and I'm just going to take you through this technology. This is specifically for language teachers. It has loads and loads and loads of games that you can play with your students. Now, if I click on create activity, you will see that there are absolutely masses of games. Really are a lot. And what we're going to do is we're going to start by looking at a few of these games, and I'm going to show you how you can interact with them. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on my activities. I've already got loads of activities because I use this website a lot. And I'm going to do this one here, a very simple one, okay, where you have to drag the sentences into the correct order. Now, let me just show you the activity. So if I click on this button here, all I need to do is to drag the word. So I'm going to say Russell was in Rome last year. Okay. And then it will now move on to the next sentence. Russell, okay, has been to Italy. Okay. And then they're going to move on to the next sentence. Russell, okay, like all people, loves eating Italian food. Okay. And now it moves on to the next question. And it says, Russell can't speak Italian. Now, I want to show you, first of all, actually, there's one more. Russell speaks Spanish. I just want to show you how you make these activities. Okay. It gives me a score, and I can even put my name on the leaderboard. I can click here and just write my name in Russell. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this game now. But what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to edit it. So I'm going to click on edit content. I'm going to change that activity. So I'm going to say, so Russell was in Rome last year. Russell was not in Rome last year, because last year, unfortunately, was the lockdown. Okay. Russell first went to Italy when he was 10 years old. Okay, I went to Milano Marittima, if I remember rightly, near to Rimini, and I had my holiday there. Okay, I'm going to change this one to Russell loves eating all food, because to be honest with you, I'm a massive fan of Italian food, Chinese food, Thai food, etc. And I'm going to put this one is Russell is learning Polish. My wife is Polish, and at the moment I'm trying to learn that language. So I can change my activity really quickly. I click on done. That activity is now ready. And what we're going to do is I'm going to share this activity with you. I want you to try and do this activity. So I'm going to click on the share button, and I simply click on set assignment. I'm going to ask you to put in your name. And now I'm going to click on, we won't bother with the leaderboard. In fact, we can, if you want, you can put your name into the leaderboard. I'm going to click on start. So it's going to be the fastest one to finish. And again, all I need to do here now is to copy this link. Now, notice again that there are other ways of sharing this content as well, including I can embed this question. Okay, so I could embed this into a website, etc. Now, in this case, you would have to share this link with the students if they're going to use their telephone. There's no code to access this, but the students can obviously, from this link, can access on their telephones and do the activity. I'm going to copy that. So I'm just going to copy that link. Okay, now I'm going to come back, and then hopefully going to stop sharing again, bring back it to the main window. So just going to stop sharing, come back to the main window, and I'm going to share that link now. In a minute, we're going to share that link with you, and hopefully you can click on that link and do that activity. I want you to drag and put the words in the correct order. You can see how easily I made that activity. I just wrote the sentences out and said play. It's very, very easy to actually create these games in WordWall. It's such a simple technology to use, and it has a huge variety of games. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do that activity. And while you're doing it, I'll talk a little bit about WordWall. Okay, so hopefully now some of you are dragging the words into different in the correct order. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to finish that activity. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to screen share and just bring you back to that application. Okay, so it's called WordWall. Really very popular technology this year for me. Very, very popular. And if I look at the activity types here, there are absolutely masses of activities that we can do. You can see some of the ones that I've created. Spinning wall, putting them into order, organizing the adjectives and verbs. I've got this one here where you have to match the building with the correct place. This here is a story, a poem. This one here is a gap fill. Loads of different ways that we can use this particular technology, and I'll show you some more activities. So I've never come across one website in a way where there are so many different games that we can play. Look at that. The number, group sorting, random wheel, quizzes, find a match, matching pairs, random cards, unjumble, that's the one that you're doing, anagram, label the diagram, true or false, balloon pop, word search, crossword, airplane, conveyor belt, brainstorm. There's just masses of technologies. Now, there are a few limits with this one. You can only use 5 activities for free. If you want to use more than 5 activities, you will need to create 2 accounts. If you've got 2 different email addresses, and you can create 2 accounts. And that is the best way to use this technology if you want to use more than. But what you can do is when you made 5 activities, you can change them and use them again and again and again and again. And you can edit them. So you can use them differently with each group of students. So maybe you're working in level 1, you do simple sentences. Then when you're working in a higher level, you write the sentences again, but obviously you will make the sentences more difficult. So this is a really good way of quickly getting your students to interact with you. Now, one thing that I can also do is I can look at the results and I can see how you are doing. And if I come over to here, I can already see that 113 of you have already completed the activity that I just asked you to do. And if I click on it, I can even start to see now all of your answers. Elena, you were the fastest, 38.8 seconds. Claudia was second. And I can see all of the who was the quickest, etc. It gives me a complete breakdown of everybody that's done the activity. It gives me all the details about the questions, etc. So this one is really about being as fast as possible. So Elena is currently winning the leaderboard. She got a score of 60 in 38.8 seconds. You can see, okay, here, lots of all the people that have been doing that activity. Absolutely brilliant. And there's a lot of you online today. So it's incredible how many. There's 131 of you so far have done this activity. So the results section is fantastic as well, because we get these results. 143 of you have now done that activity. Okay, so you can see how powerful WordWall is. Now I'm going to show you one more activity with WordWall. I'm just going to do one more just to show you some of the other things that we can do with it. Okay, so we're going to make this one a little bit more difficult. So what I'm going to do now is jump back to my activities. I'm going to do something completely different this time. And what we're going to do is we're going to come over to here. And I've got an activity here called famous buildings. So I'm just clicking on this one. Hopefully it's going to open. Good. And I'm going to start it and just quickly show you how it works. Again, this could be anything. I could be matching language, sentences, word order, all sorts of things. But in this one, all I want you to do is to drag the correct, so the Sydney Opera House. Okay, so the Sydney Opera House would be, if I can find it, this one here. I drag that into there. First one done. Second one, Versailles Palace. Okay, so then I'm looking now for the Versailles Palace. There we are. There it is. A famous palace near Paris, the Versailles Palace. Number 3, Burj Khalifa. Okay, so what I want you to do, which is, I think, if I remember right, is the biggest, tallest building in the world. So let's have a look again. Yep, there it is. And then the Parthenon, well, that's correct anyway. So then we got Big Ben, which is, again, let's have a quick look here. So we got a famous clock in London. Actually, not true, really. It's the famous bell in London. Sagrada Familia, which would be, okay, you can carry on, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to do this activity now. So I'm going to click back on share, just like I did before. Click on set assignment. I'm going to ask you to enter your names. I'm going to set a leaderboard. Okay, I'm going to click on start. Again, I get this link. I'm going to copy that link. I'm going to come back to the window so that I can share this with you. So I'm just going to stop sharing just for a moment, come back, and I'm going to paste this link in again to another activity. This is completely different. This is where you've got to drag and drop the words to get the correct order, just to show you the variety of activities that you can do when you're working with your students. Okay, so I'm going to send that and share that new link, the second one there, where the students, if you could click on that link, do that activity. It's a bit more tricky. You have to drag all the words into the right place. And again, I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes to do that activity, and then I'm going to look at the results of that activity as well. So that one's a little bit more tricky, okay? And what I will do while you're doing that activity for me is I will come back and screen share. So you've got to be doing this activity here and organizing them all into the right order and then submitting. Remember, one nice thing about this system is that it tracks you. It tracks exactly what you're doing, okay? So we got here, so hang on, we got, right, that's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So that's a good Sagrada Familia, Gaudi, that one there. And then we got the Great Wall of China and the home of the President of America. And I think I'm finished now. So I'm going to submit my answers and see how well I did. So let's see if I got them all right. I did. I'm not surprised because I made the activity. So hopefully I should have got them all right. Okay. And I'm going to put my name on the leaderboard. I'm sure I wasn't the quickest. It took a long time to do that because I was presenting to you guys, but I'm going to put my name on the leaderboard, and I'm waiting for the rest of you obviously to do the activity. If I click on the results, I should see that already some of you are beginning to do that activity. In fact, 93 of you have already done it. Wow. Okay, so 93 of you have already done that particular activity. And I'm going to click on the 93 and we can see who's on the leaderboard, which answers people were getting wrong. So Cynthia, you're first, Anna second, 21 seconds, really fast. Someone really knows there. Some of you, I can even see which questions people are getting wrong. So the Hagia Sophia in Turkey, and a couple of people are getting that one, and then also the highest building in the world. Okay, but most of the answers you're obviously getting correct, and I can see here a complete breakdown of how quickly and how many answers you got wrong or right. It gives me all of the information on the screen. Absolutely amazing. So brilliant way of getting your students involved in a session. I'm just going to give you a couple more minutes to finish that activity before we move on. So we've looked at two technologies now. We've looked at WordWall, and we've looked at we've also looked at Mentimeter. Okay, and we're going to move on to another technology in a minute as well. So I'm just going to come back just for a second. Let me just see how many of you have completed that activity now. 178 of you now have done the activity of famous buildings. 178 of you have now completed that. So absolutely brilliant to get so many people participating in the activities. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to move on to another technology in a moment. Okay, another one that I really like to kind of get. What we're looking at is technologies that I think that you can use in the class or for homework or in a hybrid lesson or online. So I'm looking really at technologies that would allow for you to think about what you might do in the future. And I believe that these technologies will be really useful to you in the future, particularly if you want to use them in class to add a little bit of engagement to the lesson. And the next technology I want to look at is really like that as well. So I'm just going to stop sharing a minute. Let me just refresh the screen and see how many of you finished doing that activities. 198 of you have now completed that activity. Let me stop sharing. I'm just going to come back again to my presentation. I'm just going to come back just very quickly into the actual presentation that I was just sharing. So I was lovely. I was talking about trying to link what you do in the class with what you might get the students to do for homework, what you might get them to do on a platform. So I really think it's nice to link, and technologies are really good for that link. So you don't always have to use the technology in the class. Sometimes using the technology outside of the class to link to the lesson. So maybe, for example, like a flipped classroom, the students have watched a video at home and they've taken some notes, and then they come into the class, and then you set a Mentee Meter to check their understanding, or you set them an activity perhaps using word wall, another way of quickly collecting together their reactions. So I really like to try as much as I can to use technologies to link what I'm doing in the classroom with what I get the students to do for homework. And I really like building a link between the two. And I often find that technology does that really well. So technology is great for the link for the work that the students do at home. And we're going to look at another technology in a minute that can do that, okay? One other thing, particularly when we're teaching online, is that we want to, when we're teaching in the classroom, we know the student's reaction. We know if they've understood the lesson. When we're teaching online, it's very difficult to do that. And that's why, again, technologies like Mentimeter or technologies like Wordwall are so useful, because you can get a better picture of what the students are understanding, because you can see if they're interacting with you. You can see the results of the activities that they do. And so it's a really powerful way of using technology to help you deal with the problem that you can't see the students and you don't really know if they're following you or interacting with you. It's a very, very difficult thing when you teach online. So what you normally have to do is add a lot more activity into your lesson. Now I'm going to show you another technology now, another free technology that I use. I'm just, again, going to do the same as I've done a few times. I'm going to just stop sharing just for a minute and just come back to the main window. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a different application, as long as I can get it onto the screen. Hopefully I can. And let me just click on here. And what I want to do this time is I'm going to show you a technology called quizzes. Okay, now quizzes is a free technology, and there's a couple of things I really like about this technology. First of all, you can do quizzes in a live session, either in class or online, and in a moment we're going to do that. But you can also set quizzes for homework, and it will produce a link, and then the students can create the link. Now, another nice thing about quizzes is that you can actually find quizzes that other teachers have already created. So if I click on Explore, And let's say, for example, I was to search for English grammar, okay, then I'm going to get loads and loads of quizzes created by other teachers, and I'm allowed to copy these quizzes. Now, what I can actually do as well is I can just roll over and it will show me here what actually the quiz is like. So I can see what the quiz practice is, okay? So I can see here we've got one that's practicing the present simple. So this is really useful. So I get the list of all the quizzes here that I can use for free, and there are many, many, many of them. And if I roll over here, it shows me what that quiz looks like. So I can quickly see, and you'll see that some of them have images, some even have video. Okay, now if I like a quiz, if there's a particular quiz that I really like, the good thing is I can click on it and then I can copy it or share it. In fact, I'm going to copy. So I can copy that. And now I have got a copy of that particular activity. So this is a really nice way of getting access to a variety of activities. Now, if I come back to Explore, if I come back, in fact, I come back to my library, I've actually got a quiz here for you. I'm going to show you it. I'm going to click here. And what I'm going to do is, in this particular one, is we just got some questions about London, okay, and just really simple questions. Color, some of it includes pictures, etc. Very simple, just 10 questions. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this so that you can play this game. Now what I'm going to do in this one is I'm going to click on assign as homework. In fact, it doesn't matter, but I have the choice. I could assign it as homework and it will give me a link, or I can do it in a live session and it will give me a link. I'm going to click on assign as homework, and I'm going to give until tomorrow. So we've got 1 day and 2 minutes from now. Okay. And then I'm just going to come down to the bottom here. I'm not going to change anything here. I'm just going to just quickly come down and just check these. Set timer, so power ups. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn that off just to make it easier. I'm going to have a leaderboard. I'm going to shuffle the questions. I'm going to shuffle the answers, and I'm not going to have redemption questions. It's slightly more complicated. I'm going to play the music, and I'm not going to show the memes. Okay, so I've done my settings, and now I'm going to click on continue. And again, it generates a code which I can give to the students so they can do the homework on the telephone, or I can share a link. Now, I'm going to share this link with you, and I want you to do this homework now. Okay, so again, we're going to access this on the internet, but you could do this on your telephone as well. Just go to joinmyquiz.com on your telephone and put that code in. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to come back to the main window again and do what I've been doing before. I'm going to share the link with you. And all I want you to do is to click on that link and do your homework. I've set you 10 questions, very simple questions about London. And these questions included pictures. Now, quizzes could be used for grammar. It could be used for, you can make your own quizzes, of course, but you can use for grammar. You can use it with video content. You can use it with images. It's great for vocabulary. It's great for listening comprehension. It's great for checking understanding. So really, really nice technology. And again, one that you can use for free. Okay. I think you're, I'm not sure if you're limited to a certain number of activities. It certainly hasn't stopped me working at the moment. So it's a nice technology to get some interaction with your students. But what I like is that this is a technology that you could do in class if you want to have a bit of fun and get the students to work together, maybe in pairs on their telephones, or they can do this homework. So coming back to that point about linking the lesson together, okay, this whole idea of connecting what the students do in class and what they do at home. So maybe the students watch a video at home, or they read something, and then in class, they play quizzes. Or maybe the other way around. You've done a lesson, you've watched some video, you've done some reading, you had a discussion, and the students do the quiz for homework. So you can use this activity kind of in both ways. What I'm trying to show you is technologies that I think can work both in the classroom and can work for homework as well. Okay, and of course the other thing is that the technologies are free. So let me just screen share and have a look at how you're getting on. So I'm going to jump back to that application, and I'm just going to come back to I can see if I refresh the page, I should get an idea of how many of you have already done the homework. And I can already see that 235 of you have already attempted this. Okay, so I instantly get feedback and you're all getting all the answers right. Okay, so you can see again how useful this is, that I get all of this information back about the students. And this is a really nice way of you tracking the activity that the students do. This particular technology has a lot of options, okay, in the way that you can use it. So there's now 235 of you. Let me just refresh the screen one more time. 254 of you now have done the quizzes game, okay, and it's tracked everything on my system. So quizzes.com is another lovely technology to look into. Okay, accuracy of this class is 76%. So you obviously all know a lot about London. And if I click on questions, it will even show me which questions, each question, which one was the ones where the students had problems. Okay, so really typical. For example, the tube. A few people got that one wrong, yeah. But again, so it really does give me a detailed information about people's answers and what percentage got what answer right, etc. Absolutely fantastic. Okay. Just give you a couple more minutes. Let's see if anyone else wants to do that activity. We've got 279 of you now have completed that activity as well. Okay, right, I'm going to stop there a minute. I'm just going to come back. We're coming now to the last 10 minutes of the presentation. We've gone through 3 technologies, and what I tried to do with those technologies as well, I'm trying to choose technologies that you can do lots and lots of things with. So WordWall has many, many different technologies. Mentimeter has many activity types, okay, and quizzes, there's quite a lot of variety in terms of the questions that you can do. You can use video, you can use images, etc. So all of these technologies are technologies that you can use again and again and again. Now, just before we finish, I'm just going to come back to the presentation. I know we're going to take some time for questions, but just want a couple of a few things that I just want to go through. I'm just going to come through. So always think about these technologies in terms of how you can use them both in the classroom and at home, and how that might be achieved, or even hybrid. So all of these technologies, you could have half your class in the lesson accessing the activity on their telephone, like quizzes, and half the class doing it at home online, just like you did. So really nice way to work. Okay, so we've looked at WordWall and we've looked at quizzes, both great tools. And what I just want to say is, what I tried to do today was, you know, think when you choose these tools, think of technologies that you can use, as I said, in both contexts, so in the lesson or for homework. Try to use technologies that are flexible, so technologies that can be used for hybrid, online, in class, and these technologies I showed you today are ideal for that. Okay, and use also technologies that can help you to assess and check your students, particularly when you're teaching them online. Now, I have done a special handout for you today. I'll just show you what it looks like. It looks like that. It's got all the technologies, WordWall, Mentimeter, quizzes, and one bonus one, which we're not going to look at today. Most people know Padlet, but if you don't, I really recommend you learn that. But here are videos to show you how to use all those different technologies. All you need to do is email me, russellhandout@gmail.com, russellhandout@gmail.com. And just write Mondadori, in the subject, and then just tell me where you're from. Just write, "Hi, Russell, I am blah, blah, blah from blah, blah, blah." And automatically you will get this handout. Okay, automatically you will get this handout. So please, if you want a copy of the handout to show you how to use WordWall, how to use Mentimeter, how to use quizzes, then please just email me, russellhandout@gmail.com. Subject Mondadori, as they were sponsoring today's event, Macmillan Mondadori, and just write, "Hi, Russell, and I am blah, blah, blah from blah, blah, blah," and you will automatically get that handout. Now, just to finish, before I take a few questions, I'm just going to stop sharing, and I'm really interested to see which of those technologies did you like the best. So I'm going to come back, and I'm going to screen share one more time, and I'm going to come over to applications, and we're going to jump back to our Mentimeter. Okay, and this time we're going to make another slide, a final one, just to get, I'm going to call this, "Which technology did you like best?" We only did 3. Which technology did you like best? Okay, just out of curiosity, click on create presentation. Now all I need to do is to choose the one. What I'm going to do here in this particular one is I'm going to do again ranking. Okay, so we'll put ranking, and we're going to choose the 3 items, which is going to be WordWall, quizzes, and the last one, the one I'm actually using to do this, is called Mentee Meter. Okay, so I've chosen the 3. I'm just going to say, put these technologies in order. Okay, so which ones you like? Which ones do you like best? Now I can tell you this year in 2020, the most popular was definitely working with WordWall. It was definitely the most popular. So I'm going to click on the share button again, guys. You all know now how I do this. I can get the students to vote by using a code, and it will be open for 2 days. I'm just going to copy that link. I'm going to click back now. So I'm going to stop sharing again, come back into the main window for the presentation. I'm going to put the final link. Just love to see which of those 3 technologies did you like the best. Can you click on the link? And you know how to do it. You just click on the drop down and choose which one. Just going to give you a couple of minutes to vote on your favorite technology. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share and have a look at what you are voting for. And if we just, one moment, sorry. Okay, it's very tight at the moment. Quizzes is in the lead. I've had 200 of you voting. Quizzes is number 1, but WordWall is coming through. Mentimeter is also proving very popular. Normally WordWall is the most popular, but it's interesting that a lot of you like quizzes. So it's very tight. There's 240 of you voted so far, and at the moment quizzes is just winning, I think. And WordWall is just a few votes behind. I'm going to give you a couple more minutes to finish. Up to 255 votes. Quizzes is still in the lead. Quizzes is still the most popular technology, but some of you voted for Mentimeter. In fact, Mentimeter is increasing in popularity. More and more people are voting for Mentimeter. It's catching up. At the moment, Quizzes is just about in the lead. 262 of you voted. I'm just going to wait a couple more minutes, see if we can get a few more votes in and see which of these technologies you like best. Okay, let's see if we can get up to 270 votes. We've got 267 of you have voted so far on your favorite technology. Okay, we'll leave it there. So the winner, guys, just about is quizzes. With 268 of you voted, quizzes just won the way through. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to come back to the main window for the last time. I hope that was useful. 3 key technologies. Technologies, I believe you could use them now, but you'll be able to use them in the future when you're teaching. They're all free. WordWall has a limit. And remember, if you want the free videos to show you how to do a Mentimeter, how to do a WordWall, how to do a quizzes, then please, I'll put it up onto the screen just one last time, just so that you've got it there. Then that's the special handout. Let me just open it up here. That you need to access. Okay, Russell handout at gmail.com, Mondadori, and just put your name, say, hi, Russell, I am blah, blah, blah from blah, blah, blah. Automatically, you will get the handout. I'm going to say a big, big, big thank you to Macmillan and to Mondadori for supporting me for doing this presentation. And I'm going to pass back now to Casimir and see if there are any interesting questions that he wants me to answer. And thank you very much.
Thanks, Russell. That was fantastic. I was reading the comments, and I think everyone pretty much agrees. It was very useful, very concrete. There were a few questions. So in the final 3 minutes, I'll ask you these. I did want to make one comment, though. I saw a couple questions about the attestati. Those should be getting to you automatically to your email address that you use to register. So someone had asked if quizzes.com, do you think that that's useful as a for self-assessment for students, or is that more of something you would use in the classroom?
It definitely could be used for self-assessment if you wanted, you know, that. I mean, obviously the students, if you know, they could work on their own through the quizzes. Yeah. I mean, you know, you can set the feedback that you give with the quiz, so it could be used in that way, or students could even make their own quizzes. Okay, because the tool is free, you could even get students to work together and actually make quizzes. Making a quiz is very easy. You literally just click on create quiz and then put in your questions, put your 4 answers, choose the best one, and you can include video. So yeah, it could definitely be used for that. It's very good for formative assessment. End of a unit of a book. So you're using one of the Macmillan books, and at the end of the unit, you want to check their understanding of some of the material in that unit. Or perhaps if you've asked them to read an article and you want to check that they understood it. It's really nice, and it's nice for that link between what you do in class and what you do for homework. Always try to link the stuff together as much as possible. Yeah,
makes sense for sure. Regarding WordWall, there was a question, kind of a technical question, and I really wasn't sure about the answer. But maybe you said this. Are the participants anonymous?
The participants can be anonymous, or you can require that they put in a name. That is entirely up to you. You can even put them into classes. Now, what I say to the students is, look, please put your proper name, because if you don't, then I don't have any record that you've done the activity and you get 0. Sure. So generally, if you tell them that, they're going to put their correct name in it. If you notice, I did ask for their names. We did an activity today with 300 people doing that activity. If you're in class with 15, it's going to be much easier.
Right, absolutely. And I would like to kind of remind everyone that, and this was another question that had come up for nearly all of the technologies you were discussing. If you have a look on YouTube, for example, you can find tutorials of Mentimeter, for example. And if you go away and after a few days you can't quite remember how to set up a classroom or how to create a quiz or something, you can often find that information just by YouTubing it, and there are plenty of tutorials on there which, if you watch it for just 2 or 3 minutes, you should be able to figure out how to.
Well, Casimir, that's what I did. Those links are to give you specific videos about how to use those technologies.
There we go.
Obviously, the videos are in English and they're for
Right.
English teachers, so they'd be good for you guys. But obviously, then I don't speak Italian. You could look on YouTube and look for an Italian version where you have an explanation in Italian. But hopefully, I think if you watch those videos, they should help the teachers to learn to use Mentimeter quizzes. And I go step by step through everything, so you should be able to learn it. But you're right to say that, and particularly if they want to search for maybe someone Italian explaining to them how to do the game, then that's a really good idea.
Okay, wonderful, Russell. So I think we'll close it up here. I'd just like to remind everyone that on the 17th of February, we'll have our next edition of English Wednesdays with Richard Twigg. He'll be discussing 360-degree feedback. And so I hope to see you all there. Russell, thank you again very much.
Cheers.
I'd like to
Thank you very much.
Mondadori, and of course, all of you for participating. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
Lovely. Cheers. Thank you very much, Casimir.
Thank you, Russell. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.